Excuse me. Shit. Okay. So, happy Easter to everyone. But you're probably wondering what what memories in the vault in the parentheses is all about. Story time. Yeah. This has the story time, or actually a few story times. And the vault, of course, is my memory. Okay. So instead of using their names, the people involved in the stories, I will either be using my mom, my brother, my grandma, my grandpa, my cousins, or my aunt and uncle to protect identities first and foremost, but then also to progress the story along. Okay? Right. So my very first memory of being adopted was actually not when I was adopted, believe it or not. So I was the very first boy to be in my foster and then later on adopted mother's care. Up until that point, she had girls, no boys at all. And she was up until she got married, a single mother. Now, you're probably wondering about the memory. Okay. So prior to Easter that year, when I got over there, my cousins were born. My twin cousins were born. So my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, we all went over to meet the twin girls. Now, if you are neurodivergent or you know somebody that is, you know the struggle of keeping the neurodivergent person focused. Oh, honey, the struggles were real with this one right here. Anyway, so the twins were born, my twin cousins, and me being me, you should know how that story ends. Different story, different time. Their first Easter with us is when my brother came to live with us. Their very first Easter was with us, with my brother. Now, my aunt and uncle, my grandparents, my mom, my brother, and I went over to a family friend of my mom's for a Easter picnic, luncheon, whatever you want to call it. And I remember this day vividly. Okay. I remember having an Easter egg hunt because I got pictures to prove it. Um, and I believe there was some special egg that if you found it, you win a prize. I didn't find it. My brother didn't find it. Neither did my cousins. I think a boy from another family had won it out. I think, if I remember correctly. Um, Not the point of the story. But then, so we did that. We punched it back to the house that we were living in at the time, and we and then we moved from that. Or no, we didn't move yet. We had Easter dinner with my aunt and my uncle, my grandparents, my brother, and my mom and I. We went to church obviously before the function for the DCFS families um, for Easter. Um, and then we went from the DCFS event, which we didn't really eat much, because we had Easter dinner waiting on us at home. The whole family came over to my foster adopted mother's house, and we had Easter there. We did our own little egg hunt that day too. And that became a tradition in our household. Every year up until I graduated high school, my brother graduated high school, the whole 9 yards, we had the Easter egg hunt. And I loved that, and I still do kind of like it, even though it is for kids. I'm actually going to plan an Easter egg hunt for myself next year. Wait and see on that. But yeah, no. Another Easter memory is one year we didn't plan Easter dinner, so we went out to eat. Believe it or not. And I think, if I remember correctly, we went up to a restaurant that's no longer here in Moline called Old Country Buffet. It was either Old Country Buffet or it was Bishop's. At any rate, the restaurant really doesn't matter. We went to a restaurant, and sorry, had a little something in my eye. But the restaurant that we went to, I'll put it this way. Sometimes it's a good idea to go to a restaurant on a holiday. That particular time it was not. I will put it this way for you: the restaurant employees were rude as all hail because they wanted to go to eat with their families and have Easter with their families, and I understand all of that. But the saying "the customer is always right" should ring true as well. But neither here nor there. All in all, the restaurant was a complete success. We enjoyed ourselves. We ate to our heart's content. And you know what? I think it was Old Country Buffet. Um, sorry, I had to backtrack a minute. So we ate to our heart's content. Went back to the house again. Did the egg search thing, and um, my brother almost fell down going down the stairs at our house in Heritage. And I remember that very, very, very clearly as if it was happening today. Um, my very last Easter with my grandparents. My grandfather would have been 2009, I think 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. We had dinner with my grandparents. And my sister came over. My brother was already over there. I was already over there. Grandma and Grandpa were on their way up. My mom and my stepfather was already up there, obviously. And I asked to be taken back home. No. That was not my. No, I was. Yeah. I asked to be taken back home, over to my apartment complex at the time. Or not my apartment complex. Well, no, it was 2010. I stand corrected. It was 2010. Because short time after, or like a few months after that, after Easter, like in December sometime, I get the call that my grandfather is down in Peoria. I've already explained this. I don't need to go into that detail in this video. My last Easter with my grandmother, we went down to her nursing home to spend a little bit of time with her before we went out to eat with her, and ultimately we took her out to eat. Took her to like a park to get some fresh air or whatever, and took her back to the nursing home. Came back up here, had dinner up here, and they took me back home. And I just miss my grandparents so very much, you guys, especially this holiday. Because this holiday made my life when they came up.